building a Zapier integration and implementing triggers and action for your SaaS. Hi, I'm Rizwan, and today we are diving into one of the most powerful features you can add to your SaaS product, the Zapier integration. If you have ever wondered how apps connect to Zapier and create those automated workflows, this video is for you. We will cover both triggers and actions, and I will show you the exact architecture we use to build this in our own application. Let's get started. First, let's clarify what triggers and action are in Zapier. Triggers are the when this happens part of our Zap. They push data from your app to Zapier when something occurs. For example, a new audit lead is generated in our system, send that data to Zapier. Actions are then do this part. They receive data from Zapier into your app to perform an operation. For example, when someone fills a form, send them a review request email through our system. Think of it in this way. Triggers are like webhooks going out, and actions are like the API endpoints coming in. Together, they make your app a powerful automation hub that can connect with thousands of other applications. Our implementation has three main endpoints. For actions, we created a post webhook that receives data from Zapier. This is straightforward. It is essentially an API endpoint that accepts specific data fields. In our case, we build an email action that takes a name, email, and a business log, then sends a branded review request email. For triggers, it's more complex. We need three endpoints. A pulling endpoint that returns sample data. Zapier calls this to get recent records and show the user what data is available. We return an array of audit reports with all their details. The second endpoint is a subscription endpoint where Zapier registers a webhook URL. When a user activates a Zap, Zapier hits this endpoint and says, hey, send new data to this URL. And the third, it is an unsubscription endpoint to clean up when the users turn off their Zaps. Okay, let's break the key technical decisions. For authentication, we used API key middleware. Every request from Zapier includes an API key that we validate against our user accounts. This is a simpler than OAuth for many use cases, and Zapier supports this out of the box. The user is going to generate an API key in our system and use that in Zapier. For the actions endpoint, we validate the incoming payload and then do the stuff that is required by our system. And the response is simple, just a success confirmation. For triggers, we store webhook URLs in a dedicated collection called Zapier hooks. When an action is performed by our system, we query this collection and post the data into the specific one. The pulling endpoint queries the database, fetches the required records, and returns in the API response. Pro tip: add the test data so the users can test their zaps without waiting for the real events. So here is a pattern that really helped us. Instead of hard-coding webhook URLs, we stored them in the database with the account reference. That means user can have multiple zaps running simultaneously. We can track which account uses what zaps. When something happens, we query once and trigger all the relevant webhooks. If a webhook fails, we can implement retry logic or logging. The subscription endpoint is simple. Zapier sends us a URL, we create a database record and return an ID. That ID becomes the reference for unsubscribing later, clean and scalable. So, what are the essential points for building Zapier integrations? Understand the difference. Actions are incoming API calls. Triggers are the outgoing webhooks you manage. For triggers, you need three endpoints: pooling for samples, subscriptions, and unsubscription. Store webhook URLs in your database. Don't hardcode them. This gives you flexibility and tracking. Use API key authentication. It's simpler than OAuth for most Zapier integrations. Return well-structured data with clear field names. Zapier users will map these fields, so make them intuitive. Test thoroughly. Zapier has a sandbox, so use it. Building a Zapier integration might seem scary, but with the right architecture, clear endpoint separation, database-backed webhook storage, and proper authentication, you can give your users powerful automation capabilities. These single features can be a major competitive advantage. If you found this valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-world SaaS development insights. Got questions? Drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and happy coding.